a lot of people have talked about this, and I've had my own opinions on it too, but it's the whole situation where a transgender woman walked into the Wee Spa, a Korean spa. If you don't know what a Korean spa is, you can look it up, but there's a female side, there's a male side. Reason being, you are in the nude when you are in, your side of the spa, whether you're male or female. And I've done one before. It's pretty interesting, bunch of naked women. But the controversy around this is that the person is a transgender woman, so transitioning from male to female, and he has not completed the entire process, so his male anatomy is still intact. That is unfair for people who don't want to see that. I understand the fact that he identifies as a woman, but identifying as a woman and looking like a woman are two different things. Um, I've thought about it in my head. Would a um, female who is transitioning to male and still has her female um, parts intact, would she walk into the male section in the nude? I don't know. I don't have any female friends to ask this question, or any transgender friends, or that are transitioning from female to male to ask this question. But are there any transgender women out there who are transitioning from female to male? Would you walk into the male section with your female um, attributes still intact? And I'm talking about, your upper and lower part of your body. Would you walk in there intact? I mean, I completely understand the other woman's concern of this person being in the spa. I totally get it. I'm a person of color, I'm black, so, discrimination and segregation, it's not a good thing, but there are limits to it because there were young girls in this spa. Based on the social media posts and videos, there was a 9-year-old girl there. Um, I know they teach sex ed in school and, all that stuff, but teaching it is one thing and actually seeing it in person is another. It's, I, I totally sympathize with the women that, have an issue with it. Absolutely. Maybe the solution is a third, space, because this particular person that walked into the spa, and this is not every transgender person out there, it is this one particular transgender person, just this one, not all, just this one person is literally a sex offender, and you had a 9-year-old child in the spa. I don't know. And this person's concerns, I understand the We Spa employee speaking, to the concerned customer that, yes, if that person identifies female. Here's the thing, if they identify as female and they still have their male genitalia intact, I really don't think they should be allowed in the female side of things, because that's not something I want to see. I don't even know what the solution is other than a third space for people who are in the process of, moving between genders. I don't even know like what to say, but I would have been offended if it was my 9-year-old girl, and I would have probably had the same reaction as this woman has in this video. I mean,
he's a man with a penis.
But if they identify
He's a man. I don't care. So men can just say, I'm a woman today and I want to come in and no, I'm recording this. I am going to record this because I'm going to make a big deal. I'm going to take this very worldwide and what's happening because, right. And then what about women's rights?
No.
Little girls.
And now we can't shower. We can't go down there to shower. We can't go get our clothes.
If you guys feel comfortable about it, we can provide you recording.
Oh, so now we have to leave.
But if you feel uncomfortable, because we cannot discriminate against gender
How,
identity.
but then why do you have men's section and women's section?
Gender identity, if they identify as female, they let us know.
Tell me what makes you a female. Exactly. See,
I understand that.
no,
I understand that.
no, we're not going for that.
And then what I can tell you, I
you see, the thing is, the customer, she is using the correct identification of a male and female. She is not using one's belief or one's self proclamation of who they are. I mean, if I were to fill out an application and I put on there that I identify as American Indian, as a Native American Indian, and demand that I get my share of funds or be treated like them, can I identify myself as a Native American and move onto, a Native American preserve and say I deserve those proceeds that are given to them because of them being, it just, you can't just say that. I can't just put on my passport, I'm 16. I can't just change my date of birth. You can't just do that. I don't know. I can understand that someone wants to, they don't feel comfortable in the person that they were born, and they would like to move to that new person that they would like to be. But during that time, you can't do that. I mean, this person has been charged with other offenses. And a lot of people have come out and say that this is fake. There is no such transgender woman. This is a lie. Only to have that the LAPD has charged this person with indecent exposure. So for the public to have come down on it and say that this is a lie, or it just completely made me question a lot of things and wanted to, I didn't want to talk on it because I don't know, would a woman in transition from female to male walk into the male side of the spa in the nude with all her female attributes intact? That's what I'm wondering, is it only the male side? And this male person, or this, transgender person, was also charged with exposure, indecent exposure at a public space where there were women and children, indecent exposure to a minor. Are there women in transition from female to male that are being charged with this as well? Is this person, this one particular person, not all, this one particular transgender person, are they maybe using the whole transgender laws and transgender acceptability as a loophole to access children and women? It is a possibility. It is, and we have to look at it in that sense. In this particular case, not all the cases. Here's the thing. I've been to restaurants and I've gone to use the bathroom, and I'll see an elderly lady just standing there, and I'm like, oh, are you waiting? And she goes, no, I'm just waiting for my daughter. And when I see the daughter come out, and the daughter's like 15, not physically disabled in any way, but a 15-year-old girl and she's there waiting. I completely get it, because people that still have their male anatomy intact are allowed to use the female bathrooms. Who's to say that they're not just using this as a way to get to these young children? There's so many pedophiles, there's so many predators. Just another way to get to them, and this person has been charged with indecent exposure. They're also a registered sex offender. Something has to change. There has to be better rules. There has to be maybe a third, there needs to be a third space for those who are in transition and haven't completely gone through the whole process. There has to be that, because for a 9-year-old child to look at that, or a child of any age, that's unacceptable. As a parent, that is unacceptable. Your child should not be looking at a grown man's genitalia. It shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't happen. That's just my opinion. I don't know. This has to stir a lot in a lot of people. And it did, because there were protests, people were arrested, and Antifa was out there. You know what I mean? And they're making it seem like this is okay. Marager, I guess the person's name, police said Marager has been a registered sex offender since 2006 and has a history of previous indecent exposure charges. Marager, I'm sorry, I'm completely lost on this now. Marager was convicted of indecent exposure in LA in 2002 and 2003 and pleaded not guilty to 7 counts of indecent exposure in an alleged December 2018 case. So this is like a serial offender. As a registered sex offender, I don't even think you're allowed to be around children. And there was a 9-year-old, so we spa, well, they wouldn't have known he's a registered sex offender. But he would know, this transgender person would know that they are a registered sex offender and they're not allowed around children. So the minute he actually entered the area where he saw there was a child, he should have removed himself. This is, this is where I go to the gym, and if I were to go into the locker room to take a shower or whatever, and there is a male in the nude, that would be unacceptable. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Just my thoughts. My question to everyone out there is, would a female in transition from female to male with all her attributes intact, would she walk into the male section of the spa? Food for thought.